B999, my loves. I've been thinking about this day for quite some time, especially connected to that message we did back at the beginning of August, connected to coming out of the shadows between the 8-8 and the 9-9 portal. And I don't know about you, but there's definitely been some big transformations taking place. So, as I say that, I'm kind of just looking forward to diving into just a no agenda. Let's open up to source and see what wants to come through in a new and deeper way. I am going to use the card today just because I've been in my own lane, sort of doing my own thing. I don't know. For those of you who are on Harmonious Hearts, you'll probably know this, but those of you that aren't, I've been working on uh, recording a 7 chakra series for Sacred Union, and that has been working your girl because it's having me work on some really deep, beautiful things. But it's definitely connected to this coming out of the shadows into the light. Definitely shoring up to be a deep rebirth process. So, anyway, let's see what we got. Okay, that's kind of funny when you see the cards that come out, and I'm gonna start here and we're gonna see where it opens up to. So we start out our 999 with this Nine of Cups. Talk about coming out of the shadows and into the light, right? This is really speaking to me about the treasure that was discovered in the shadows, right? All of those shadows within ourself that we have faced, all of the collective shadows we have faced, and the rewards that we have reaped just within ourselves, becoming that transformed version of ourselves. And the fact that it goes to this Page of Pentacles, which is so much about basically being birthed out of the ground, out of the shadows. Look at them. It's like the treasure and the earth, which is all relative, right? And then we have the tower. And this is that birthing for me. This whole entire process is speaking to me about this rebirth, this birthing of our new self, literally into physical form, right? We've been changing from the inside out. We've been asking to embody more and more of our higher self. And what came through in this sacral chakra session yesterday, I'm going to share here because it feels so interconnected with all of these current ascension energies. And in the past, the ascension energies on our planet were not so much about embodiment, but about that moving on and passing on and going to the other side in order to ascend out of the lessons. But what we're doing now in this ascension process is actually embodying and rebirthing ourselves while maintaining our physical form. And so our physical bodies are also going through massive transformation. And I myself have been praying and asking for how that's going to look and unfold for years, right? The first time I was shown about bringing my higher essence into my body was like a good 10 years or so, 10, 11 years ago. And now it's like reaching this point where it's like, okay, we can only bring in so much light. It needs more space to land. And again, in that session, what came through was actually allowing the elements of the sacred earth to bring more shape, more form, more embodiment to our physical bodies. I don't quite fully know how to express it other than this is, yes, grounding into the earth, but it's also allowing yourself to be saturated in the elements in physical form. Yes, go out in nature, spend as much time, soak up the elements, share in the reciprocity, give your love back to earth and the sacred elements. but also going into meditation and connecting with the earth and the elements. Or if you want, you can participate in my series of sessions if that feels aligned, whatever feels good for you. But this coming out of the shadows is this combo of sort of coming up out of the dirt, out of the darkness, out of the shadows, but being so deeply rooted in the elements that we remember that the shadows, the void, the womb space is what births life, right? It's what is allowing us to transform while we are still in our physical vessels, right? How we can move into those ageless energies and ageless codes and up out of the death, aging, and dying templates, right? And I was told years ago that that was going to be part of my work. And I'm seeing as things unfold more and more of this potential coming to fruition. And so, this out of the darkness into the light, that completion to me feels like the potentiality of us climbing out of the struggle of that death, aging and dying, aging, death, and dying template, right? Dying and death. Yes, whatever. Either way, you see, my mind is already like over it. Okay. And I'm not saying that my physical vessel isn't going to choose to leave this planet at some point. But part of what this process is, again, what we are doing with this specific ascension process is not about leaving and starting all over. It's about letting the old version of us pass on so that the new version can be born while we are still here in physical form, right? Ooh, okay. I want to bring in. Nope, they're having me go to the shaman dream. Let's go into some, or no, the shaman, mystical shaman. This is usually a deeper deck that I use on my memberships, but I feel like we are leveling up. We are leveling up, and let's see what comes through. Wow, okay. So we have the Rainmaker and many paths. Oh, this Rainmaker to me with this lightning, right? It speaks about the sacred waters of life, the sacred essences of replenishment from source. It's like when the rains pour down on the lands, it springs life into action. And this many paths, it's like many paths lead to that one, though. You see what I'm saying? I don't know. There's something there. I'm gonna, okay. It's coming in that there's many paths that can lead us home, many paths that lead us to that pinnacle point. Our current ascension process is putting us in this position to ask to align with our highest potential, our highest path, right? What is our greatest potential here while we are in physical form? And what can we do to align with that on a daily and consistent basis? Okay, now I'm going to pull in some more tarot. What can we work with in a new perspective, in a new way to focus on this point? Okay. So we have the King of Pentacles. And to me, this is speaking about the importance that as we're embodying into our ascension, well, we are connected to our higher physical form, that we understand that material, physical world resources are an important part of this process, allowing ourselves to receive money, finances, nourishment, minerals, vitamins, external support, and reciprocity. This is part of what is the life-giving essence, the life replenishing essence is resources, right? Resources. This is how the source of our creation, our mother, father, God source, replenishes us by letting us receive resources, right? Sources right in that. So it's this replenishment, this rebirth, and this continuous essence into allowing ourselves to receive the higher nourishment and the nourishment from the earth, right? So that we continue to come forth as our highest potential. And this is something that can evolve each day. So instead of living a life where you start to age and feel like you're waning and aging and dying, this is about replenishing and resourcing continuously so that you are growing and evolving and ascending, and your life force is actually amplifying instead of diminishing. And I believe that when we can get into our correct mindsets of understanding that this potential is available, we can start to transmute the old ways of being and actually allow ourselves to continue to be replenished and resourced from our direct source of our highest creation and our own direct connection to our home planet, Mother Earth. This is why I always speak so deeply about embodying into your sovereign lane, my loves, doing whatever you can to trust yourself above all. Okay. And if there's any areas where you're feeling uncertain about how to connect to your highest self and embody those energies, these swords, these crows are speaking to me. Like what's coming to me is like sort of letting yourself unravel the old limiting beliefs, replace them with what it is that your intentions are. Right? So, an example could be if there's a specific illness or something that happens in your family, and sort of all of the ancestors are like, oh, that's just part of so and so. That's just part of how our family is. It's in our blood, it's in there. And you're like, well, I don't want to experience this. That is a powerful intention. You do not have to agree to go down that lane. You can ask your higher power, what do I need to do to transmute this ancestral pattern? How can I take care of myself physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually to transmute this pattern? And then stop and look, what ways have I already been doing this? And when you start to realize what you've already been doing, you can start to replace the belief that you have to participate in that with the understanding that you've already been in process of unraveling the old pattern, and that you do not have to go through that if you do not need those lessons. Do you need that illness? Do you need that experience? Ask yourself. Or have you been addressing your physical health? Have you been supporting yourself emotionally, mentally, and spiritually? Are you opening up to receiving physical, material world resources? Are you allowing yourself to absorb your nutrients? Are you letting yourself receive finances? Are you letting yourself receive the reciprocity of love and support and camaraderie? Right? And maybe you didn't experience those things in the past, but are you making space to receive them now? Okay. And it's all okay wherever you are. The point of this message is part of coming out of the shadows into the light, is making the space for the light to land, making the space for yourself to receive that higher replenishment, to receive the replenishment from the earth, to receive the replenishment from source. Because when you become your own savior, you're not looking for everything else to do it for you. You're taking it by the reins. You're opening up to your higher essence. You're opening up to reciprocity with the earth, right? And this is another part that's important. Your presence in your ascended form is also reciprocal for the earth. So it's not just you taking from the earth or just you taking from source. You are an embodiment of earth and source together. You, my loves, bring essence to allow Creator, the source of our creation, to know itself better. Your creations are an expression, an extension of our source. So when you allow this essence to come through you, you become the paint on the paintbrush on the canvas, right? You become the creation, the creator. And then your connection to the earth, your connection to source, and the connection to the paints and the brushes, you become all of it. You are stepping into conscious creation by allowing yourself to open up to receiving the resources. All right, my loves. All right, I'm excited. I'm going to leave this here. I hope that you found this enjoyable on this 999 portal as we are completing out the potential for the death process in the old energies and allowing ourselves to be replenished and resourced in rebirth on a daily basis. Sending you so much love. Hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you soon. Much love. Peace.